drone is flying over our house.
Wait, can I say?
Well, I'm just taking the video of it. Should we zoom in? You hear it? It looks like an airplane. There it is. It's going right over our house.
I see it.
Hello!
Hello.
Who are you?
Hello, drone.
It's right over our house. That's crazy.
Looks like we're on.
Oh my gosh.
This one looks like in
Like that.
So it doesn't have any body parts of that.
Everyone has a different theory about whatever these things could be that are floating and hovering and flying in the sky over New Jersey. And I, for one, I embrace all of these theories because I don't feel like any of us are in a position right now to shoot down people's theories when it comes to this story because we really don't know enough, at least at this point. And I think it's a beautiful thing that when we have stories and mysteries like this one, I think it's a beautiful thing that we can all come together online and brainstorm, throw out different theories. You know what they say, two heads are better than one. But I will say this, regardless of what your theory is, regardless of what you think these things are, we cannot normalize this. I don't care what you think these things are. You can think they're aliens. You can think it's the U.S. military. You can think it's Russia, China, whatever. What we cannot do is normalize these things flying in the sky over our heads. And you may think, oh, how could someone normalize this? Ladies and gentlemen, it can happen very, very quickly. You know, the people in New Jersey, it's not like their life came to a standstill, okay? They still have to wake up in the morning and drive to work with drones flying over their head or whatever these things are. At the end of the night, they still have to tuck their kids into bed, read them a little bedtime story, give them a kiss on the forehead as they hear these drones or whatever these things are hovering and buzzing above their homes. So what I'm saying here is, very quickly, things like this can be normalized, especially when you feel powerless about doing anything about it, and the bills still have to be paid. You know, it's not like New Jersey is like, hey, you don't gotta pay rent, you don't gotta worry about the light bill, we just gotta figure out what these things are in the sky. That's not how this works. You have to go about your everyday life, and slowly but surely, and not even that slowly, very quickly, before you know it, it just becomes a part of your regular everyday life. You look in the sky and you see these things flying overhead, and you don't even think anything about it anymore. This can happen very quickly. And when you look at what's happening in New Jersey, you know, this has been happening for about a month now. So it's already gotten to the point where this is becoming part of their normal everyday lives, and we got to be very careful not to let that happen because this is a very slippery slope. And before you know it, we could have a complete surveillance state to where drones are flying over your head, watching you 24/7. And that may seem far-fetched to you now, but I can tell you this, 20, 30 years ago, if you would have told someone, hey, you're going to be able to pay for everything with a phone that's in your pocket, a mobile phone, people would have said you were crazy. That's far-fetched. If you would have told people 200 years ago or 100 years ago that everywhere you go, you're going to be on camera, there's going to be a camera on every street corner and every store watching your every move, people would have said that's outlandish. But look at where we're at now. So folks, it's a slippery slope. And things that you may think are outlandish aren't that outlandish at all. And the people of New Jersey are finding that out the hard way. And like I said, the main thing we got to do here, we don't got to agree on what these things are, where they're coming from, or what the agenda is behind it. But we do have to agree that we cannot normalize this, and we have to continue calling this stuff out, pointing out how absurd, how crazy this is, that these things are flying in the sky above our heads. we have to keep the pressure on. We cannot just, fall asleep at the wheel and allow this to happen all over America. But over on places like Fox News, they're literally kind of telling people to go ahead and start shooting these things down. Let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more.
This is a little bit personal to me. My entire neighborhood, everybody in the surrounding cities, seems like it's all anybody's talking about because there are so many sightings. We're going to show you the one outside of my house that my kids captured just on Thursday night. But what are your thoughts on this? What's happening, and why don't we have more information? That's over my house. Yeah.
It's one of three things. It's either individuals, it's either the Chinese, or it's our military, or a combination thereof. Honestly, you don't see a lot of that in Tennessee, where I'm from, because everybody's got a 12-gauge shotgun, man. And I suspect we need to open the season up on drones.
Now, personally, I would not suggest that anyone goes out and tries to shoot one of these things down, because you will go to jail. I know some people are getting comfortable right now because they're like, oh, the cops, law enforcement, FBI, the military, they're not doing nothing about these things, so I'll go be the hero. No. They might not find and arrest whoever's behind these drones, but they will find you and arrest you in a heartbeat. So don't go out and try to shoot one of these things down. Also, you never know, you may be shooting at an airplane or a helicopter or something, so you got to be careful. I would not try to do that if I were you all. But as I was explaining earlier, we cannot normalize these things flying in the sky over our head. And as I pointed out, a lot of people have different theories about what these things could be. When I look at these drones or whatever they are, I think they're man-made. I don't think it's a alien UFO, but I'm open to all possibilities. Some people have been floating the theory that these are UFOs using some type of mimicry, where they mimic fighter jets, the sounds of fighter jets, and they mimic how drones look to kind of fit in. I don't necessarily think that's the case at all. But just because, let's say these are man-made drones or some type of man-made technology, just because this is man-made technology does not mean that this is not directly tied to some type of alien UFO agenda. For all we know, what they could be doing right now is kind of trying to desensitize people to weird aircraft flying over their heads. For all we know, this could be some type of social experiment where they're basically trying to desensitize people. Like I said, they're trying to normalize you having weird objects, unidentified flying objects, flying in the skies over your head all the time. This could be just one of their processes of desensitizing people, normalizing things, getting people ready for what's to come. Because in my opinion, something is coming. You got all of these UAP, UFO sightings, you got all of this mysterious drone activity, and then you got these congressional hearings about UFOs, within Congress. You got the Space Force that they created not that long ago. I really feel like something's coming down the pipeline that they already know of, and there's a possibility that they're really trying to get us ready for it, or trying to desensitize us for what's to come, or something along those lines. And for all we know, whatever's happening in New Jersey may be part of that plot. You know what I mean? Because if people get used to these weird things flying in the sky over their heads every day, then when we do have actual alien UFOs flying in the sky over our head, people aren't going to freak out as much. And then people will say, oh, wait, that was just a drone. That was just this. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that that is 100% the case here. I'm just floating out another theory. Because just because these things are man-made does not mean that this is not tied into some type of alien or UFO agenda. Because it very likely could be. And we're still trying to wait to find out. But all I know is whatever these things are and whatever the story is behind it, the story that we're getting now about no one knowing what's going on, it's the more this stretches out, the harder it gets for me to believe that. And I really think that we need to keep the pressure on this story. I think we would be doing ourselves and our entire country and maybe the entire world a huge disservice if we allow this story to fizzle away before we get any concrete answers. But for now, let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I will talk to you all very soon in the next video.